Hi, my name is Sandy Jerstad, and I'm here at St. Mark's Lutheran Church, cuddled up on a cozy couch with a nice warm blanket. And today, for a devotional, I'm going to be reading from a book I wrote in 2011 and 2012, which was mainly of Mark's sermons and some of my reflections. This particular sermon was entitled Joy. And Mark had 3 pictures of joy. This was, as he says, and I'm going to quote him for a few paragraphs, picture number 2. I wish that we had a required reading list here at Augustana, he was the campus pastor then, that you could not graduate until you had read at least a certain number of books. Definitely on that list would be The Immense Journey by Loren Eiseley, a brilliant, beautiful, poetic piece of work. Scientific, meditative, profoundly theological, a gift indeed. In this writing, Loren Eiseley tells a story of his youth, when the university hired him to spend a summer capturing specific birds to be put into a large zoo for study and for display. He tells of coming to the barn late one evening. He saw there was a hole in the top, and he knew it would be a natural nesting place for some kind of specific bird. With one hand he held his flashlight, and with the other he climbed up and reached his hand in. He heard a sharp, shrill cry. He saw with his light that there were 2 birds and not one, sparrowhawks. All of a sudden, one of the pair screeched and went for his hand, and hung on so that the other one might go free, his mate. She soared through the hole. He was able to capture the bird. His pride was hurt, he said, because of his wounds, but he carefully took the bird and put it in a box. He decided to sleep in the barn. The next morning he got up and was suddenly taken with the thought of the bird he had caught and decided to look at it again. Carefully he took it out of the box, held it in his hands, and said this: "A little breeze flowed over me again, and nearby a mountain aspen shook its tiny leaves. I suppose I must have had an idea then of what I was going to do, but I never let it come up into consciousness. I reached over and laid the hawk on the grass. He lay there a long minute without hope, unmoving, his eyes still fixed on that blue vault above him. It must have been that he was already so far away in heart that he never felt the release from my hand. He never even stood. He just lay with his breast against the grass. And the next second, after that long minute, he was gone. Like a flicker of light, he had vanished with my eyes full on him, but without even seeing a premonition of a wing beat. He was gone, straight into that towering emptiness of light and crystal that my eyes could scarcely bear to penetrate. For another long moment, there was silence. I could not see him. The light was too intense. Then, from far up somewhere, a cry came ringing down. I was young then, and had seen little of the world. But when I heard that cry, my heart turned over. It was not the cry of the hawk I had captured, for by shifting my position against the sun, I was now seeing further up, straight out of the sun's eye, where she must have been soaring restlessly above us for untold hours, hurtled his mate. And from far up, bringing from peak to peak of the summit, over us came a cry of such unutterable and ecstatic joy that it sounds down across the ears and tingles among the cups on my quiet breakfast table. And Mark speaks again. Together again, a picture of joy. Consider the birds of the air, Jesus said. Your Father in heaven cares for them, each one of them. How much more does he care for you? There is the key. No matter what your experience of joy has been or will be, know that it is only a foretaste of that which is to come. For the true joy, the joy that lasts forever, is that joy which comes to us from our future, from the promise of him who loves us and gave his life for us, that penetrates our very present moment, that says, "You are mine, your sins are forgiven." That joy rattles and sings across the mountain peaks of heaven, finds its way down into our hearts, buoys us up, and fills us, captures us, and then turns us loose, agents of that joy, that promise of his hope. Rejoice, because your names are written in the book of life.